Good morning and welcome to the Board of Commissioners called meeting for today. We appreciate your time and are glad that you could join us. At this time, I'll call the meeting to order and we will start with our special recognitions and presentations. And the first item on the agenda is the Rockdale County Animal Services Department being recognized for receiving the no-kill shelter status.
Good afternoon. C.G. Baker, General Manager for Rockdale County Animal Services. Here today to talk about a award that we were given from Best Friends Animal Society. Basically from July 2024 to July of 2025, we were recognized as a no-kill facility. Which means that if you take the total number of dogs and cats that come into our facility, and it means that we got out into homes or back, into their home, at least 90% or higher of those. So we were recognized for that.
Excellent.
And there is a little video that PR did for us, so I'll let you take a look at that.
Very good.
So this award is very exciting, not only for myself as running the shelter, but for all the staff members. It shows the dedication that we have, not only to our job, but to the county and the citizens and the animals of this county. And it's just something to be really proud of because it just shows the hard work that we're putting in every single day to make sure that we are finding homes or getting animals back to their owners, to prevent euthanasia and just have a better place and something that the community can be proud of.
Through July 31st, 2025, we reached the status of no-kill. What that means is we reached a 90% live release rate. It has been a great year for our dogs with getting them out, whether that be in adoption or rescue groups.
Helping contribute to the no-kill status, I helped transport and helped with a lot of the adoptions through the year of 2025. Usually I'm doing anywhere from 3 animals to up to 10 animals in 2 days every single week with the transporting to rescues, and that can be anywhere from an hour to up to 6 hours transporting them out of state, trying to get them safe.
While Hannah does transports, she does this on her own time. She does this outside of work. I would also like to thank the partners we have partnered with, such as Dave's Hot Chicken, Petco, Tractor Supply. They help us get out our dogs, whether dogs do get adopted or they just get out for the day in our adoption trailer.
We're very committed to continuing this work so that we not only get the award but maintain, and we're looking forward to a lot of the exciting programs that we're coming up with to help get the community more involved, from educational programs to the volunteer program. We are planning a lot of off-site adoption events and getting more involved in the local schools so that we can start educating at a young age, and then just going up from there.
Thank you. That was a great video. And I'm sure when you go out to those schools, I can see all the kids going home wanting new pets. So I'm sure the parents are going to love that. So.
Yes, we try to get very involved in the school system and just out in the community more. And so we're looking forward to this coming year and seeing how it goes.
Well, if we could have your team come up front, we'd love to take a picture with you.
Yes, because definitely could not do it without their hard work.
Yeah, we appreciate each and every one of you. Here, and then don't want to find a place anywhere around here. It's weird, I know. Sorry. Thank you. Find a little puppy over there. Our friend's looking.
Oh, okay. Well,
Been meaning to call you. Thank you so much.
thank you.
How are you?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, thanks. This is cool. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, next we have a presentation for our 2024 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. So we would like to welcome Mr. Jeffrey White, Sr. to the podium.
Thank you, and good afternoon. My name is Jeff White. I am the engagement partner for the conduct of the audit of Rockdale County for the year ended December 31st, 24. We have a brief presentation on the screen, and so I'm going to move right through it. At any point during the presentation you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So let's move to the first slide. And it lays out what we are going to talk about. And I'm going to be brief on each one of these areas, but I want to make sure that I get in exactly what the results have been. So I want to talk a little bit about audit scope, what we did, the responsibilities between our firm as the independent auditor and, of course, management. It's a partnership to some extent to get these audits done. I also want to talk about the audit reports, just briefly, from the standpoint of what's included within the ACFRA, and then a summary of the results, and then talk a little bit about the management representation letter. Okay, so moving to the next slide, we're going to start out with the scope. And of course, well, let's go past that. Let's do the overview. There's an overview. Let's go back to the overview. Okay, so we're engaged to do both a financial audit and a compliance audit. The financial audit, of course, covers the ACFRA, which is the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report for the year 24, ended 24. As a part of that, we also perform a compliance audit on the laws and regulations that impact Rockdale County, how you have to administer government as it relates to finances. And then, of course, the compliance requirements included for all the federal programs that were administered during the year. And you administered somewhere like $8.8 million of federal monies this year. And so we also have to select a sample of those programs to audit. So it's both a financial audit and a compliance audit. Okay. Now, within the document, the report you got, we call it the ACFRA. There's the introductory section that covers the transmittal letter, organizational chart, and who the principal officials are of the county. Then there's a financial section that covers our report on the financials. There's a management discussion and analysis, which is management's overview of the financial activities and operations of the county for the past year. But there's also some other numbers comparing it to your activities for the prior year. And then we have the basic financial statements, which are required by every government in the country, in the U.S. Same type of financial statements, same type of reporting format, basically. Only difference is what's particular to Rockdale County. And then there's another section that deals with what we call required supplementary information. And that's just what it is. It's information that's required by the government accounting principles and government accounting standards. So moving on to the next slide, then there's an other supplementary section that takes all of these individual financial statements of the county under its general fund, certain general fund accounting statements, special revenue funds, capital project funds, and they roll them up and combine them to allow them to support the combined financial statements on the front side. Then there's a compliance section, and that's where we have our reports on internal control and compliance based on us doing a compliance audit. There's a schedule of expenditures of federal awards, which has all the federal funds that are administered, federal programs that are administered by the county during this past fiscal year. And then there's a schedule of findings and question calls where we would write out and indicate any findings or question calls that we have in relation to those funds that were administered. And then finally, the last section is the statistical section, which is really all of the statistics. It's like 20 pages of statistics from Rockdale County, all kinds of statistics that give you a real good overview of what the county does, how it operates, and how it's performed from one year to the next. And generally, these statistics will run out at least 10 years. So it's some very good information in that. And this statement is all that's required in terms of government accounting and reporting. This is the presentation that's required. So in terms of the audit scope, as I said, we audited the financial statements. We audited and put in the financial statements of the component units. We got the notes to the financial statements within the document. So we audited all the funds of the county for the year ended December 31st, 24. And let's move to the slide on audit objectives. Our whole purpose for doing the audit, of course, and you engage us to do the audit so that what we are going to is to issue an opinion on the financial statements. And the whole idea, of course, is from the onset is that you don't go into an audit with the assumption or the design that we're going to issue a report that's anything other than a good report. We call that an unmodified opinion. An unmodified opinion is the good report. So our goal in conducting the audit is to get to that. But if we don't find enough evidence to get us to that, then we have to issue something other than an unmodified report. So our job is to report on the financial statements. It is also to report on internal control and compliance that relate to those financial statement items, and that's looking at laws and regulations, grants and contracts. And then we're also, and this is the third reporting element, is internal control and compliance over those major grant programs. We didn't audit every grant program. We're only required to audit those that are considered to be major. And eventually, every program gets an opportunity to be audited over a period of time. So that was our audit objective. Audit the financials.
I'm sorry, excuse me. What makes it major?
What makes it major is there's a threshold of $750,000.
Okay. Thank you.
Any program that exceeds $750,000 is considered to be a major program. But then we go through a calculation to determine which ones are the highest risk programs. So typically, any program over 750 is considered to be a higher risk program, and we're required to select it for audit. In this case, for Rockdale, we picked every program that was over that amount, and you actually end up testing way more than the regulations require. Regulations require that we test at least 20% of the programs. But we actually, when you look at major programs for Rockdale, you may get closer to 60, 70% of the programs get tested. So threshold 750,000.
Thank you.
Okay. So the next slide continues to talk about our responsibilities. And again, in the conduct of this audit, we come in with this attitude of independence. We're not advocates for management. We're not advocates for the commission. We come in independently and basically let the chips fall where they may. You know, whatever you find is what you find. So we come in with this attitude of professional skepticism. This entire audit process requires us to use our professional judgment based on other entities like the Rockdale County that we've audited. The first thing we do, of course, is obtain an understanding of internal control. We basically, from that, decide how we're going to audit, what we're going to look at, how deep we're going to go, and then based on that, we develop an audit plan. But in order to get this audit done, we've got to have the cooperation of management, right? And so we got to have management to kind of buy in on that plan. So first of all, management, looking at the next slide, management has the responsibility to prepare the financial statements. So they provide us with the financial statements, and then from that point, you audit these financial statements. So management has that responsibility right up front. Management also has a responsibility to tell us right up front if they know that there are any deficiencies in internal control. They have to tell us if they know if there's any fraud or any other adverse conditions that have affected or went on in the county's operation during the past year. So management has fulfilled their responsibility. We've fulfilled ours, and now we're at this place where we can make a report to the commissioners. There are a few other areas. Going to let's skip over to slide number 9, and let's go to 9. Let's get right, 10, I'm sorry. Let's get right to the report. Okay, So as I said, I talked about those three areas: financial statements, internal control, and compliance, right? So we issued 3-letter reports, and they're within the document. One report is on the financial statements, one is on the internal control and compliance as it relates to financial statement compliance, and then secondly is the one that compliance and internal control that relates to the federal programs. So here are the results. Moving to the next slide. The report on the financial statements is on page 1 through 4 of the document, and on that report, basically what you're looking for is a conclusion by us, the independent auditor, that those financial statements are fairly presented, present financial position fairly, the results of operations and cash flows, and that the financial statements are in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. That's what you're looking for from us. So in that conclusion, we are saying that we are issuing an unmodified opinion. That means it is fairly stated in all material specs. That's the best possible report you could get from an independent auditor. The language is standard language. It's required by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. So there's nothing in that report that's outside of what would be typical for an unmodified opinion. Can't get anything better than that. So the opinion on the financial statements is a clean opinion. Unmodified report, best you can get. Now, moving to the next slide. Next slide is the continuing that same report. I just want to point out that there are a couple of other, not only do we report on those basic financial statements, but we also report on that supplemental information. And there's a lot of supplemental information in that document. The MD&A has supplemental information. There's the pension and OPEB information, which can be 5 pages of footnotes plus about 3 or 4 schedules of themselves. Well, we perform limited procedures on those, and those procedures are designed to make sure that there's nothing in those supplemental schedules that conflict with what's in the basic financial statements. So they all mail together. They all reconcile. But we don't express an opinion as to whether or not the pension information is correct, because we can't audit the pension information. We don't audit the pension fund to that extent. All right, so then moving to that second opinion, the one on internal control, that's on page 124 and 125. And what we're looking there is for us to identify any weaknesses in internal control that represent a material weakness. We did not find any that represented a material weakness. We did not identify any deficiencies in internal control that we would consider to be a material weakness. And so consequently, we have no instances of non-compliance as it relates to financial reporting and compliance with state laws and regulations. So that's the best opinion you can get there. And it is also unmodified. And basically what it says is that we didn't identify anything that we need to bring to the commission's attention that needs to be fixed in terms of internal control or in terms of compliance. And then that final opinion, number 3, is on page 126 and 128. And that's basically on the single audit. If you receive more than $750,000 in federal funds, you have to be considered for a single audit, all right? And so, of course, Rockdale got $8.8 million, so you're above that threshold. So a single audit was conducted. We selected the major programs, and the report that we're issuing on that is unmodified, and it basically is saying that Rockdale County complied with the major terms and conditions of its grants and contracts, all right? So there's no non-compliance identified, no question costs identified, no weaknesses in internal control that affect the federal programs has been identified. So you've got an unmodified report there, and again, that's the best that you can get. Moving to the next slide, talking in terms of just summarizing all this, let me summarize it for you, the 3 reports. On the financial statements, unmodified opinion. Everything's fairly stated. As it relates to internal control, no significant deficiencies. As it relates to compliance, no non-compliance, no question cost. So it's a good report. This is what you're looking for. So let me talk a little bit about too some of the federal program situation. As I said, we got an unmodified opinion on the federal programs. The major programs were the special programs for the aging Title II. These were more than $750,000.
What page are you on?
I'm sorry. Move to slide number 16, if you don't mind. It's on page, they would be on page of the report document. They should be somewhere around page 1, shortly after page 128. say 129, 130, somewhere along there. I can tell you exactly.
Looks like it's 128. Almost
Yeah,
towards
it's
the back.
128. Look at 128. 128 is the schedule of findings and question calls, but I'm summarizing it from on this slide, on slide number 16. Okay, so as I said, no significant deficiencies in internal control over the major programs, and the major programs again were the special programs for the aging and the highway planning and construction grants. There was $8.8 million in federal expenditures, and these grants that I just referenced the highway grants had $5.2 million, I'm sorry, $7.3 million of expenses. And the child services grants had $481,000 of expenses. So you can see that if we were only required to audit everything over $750, and you were only required to audit 20%, we are well above 20%. We are somewhere almost around 7, I said 60, but about 70-75% of the federal funds were audited. And we did not identify any question costs or disallowed costs or noncompliance there. The county qualifies in 23 and qualifies in 24 and will qualify in 25 as a low-risk auditee, which means that you are kind of like first in line, if you will. You have a better chance of either being refunded or obtaining additional funding, because low risk means you have administered the programs that you have in such a way that the government or whoever the grantor is would say, yeah, they've got a track record, they can administer these programs. So you are kind of like, you could say, at first in line to get funding. We had no financial statement findings, as I indicated earlier, and there were no federal awards findings or question costs or disallowed costs. So clean opinions on the financials, no problems with internal control, no problems with compliance, clean single audit reports, unmodified. That's the best you can get. The last thing I just want to just briefly say is, and this on the next slide, the management representation letter. We, at the conclusion of the audit, we provided management with a letter of some, I think it was 48 to 50 representations that we require management to make to us, which evidences their acceptance of responsibilities related to financial accounting and compliance and reporting, okay? If they don't give us that letter, we can't get that letter from management, then we can't issue a report. Because if management says, I can't affirm to you that I gave you everything, that I answered all your questions, that I didn't leave anything out, if they can't affirm that to us, then how can I sign off on the report, an opinion? And so we did get that representation letter from management. We were in total agreement with what had happened in terms of the information provided in the audit procedures, and management accepted responsibility for those financial statements, which an auditor really has to have. We got that, so we were able to release the reports. But that letter becomes a big part of the audit evidence, and that's why I make a point to make reference to it. So I can hopefully answer any questions y'all might have regarding the audit.
Okay. Well, and you're a partner with the firm, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
We really appreciate you taking time to come and present this year. I think you did a great job with the information that was provided. Can you talk about, let me get to the right page. First, I love that, maybe I missed it last year, the major initiatives were included on this of economic development projects we're working on.
Right.
So thank you for that. That's very important as we try to plan for the future of what our tax responsibilities will be. Can you talk about what page we would find some of these grant programs on?
Yeah, page 128. I think I said 128 is actually 2 pages. 128 and 129 is the schedule of expenditures of federal awards.
Okay.
And that page identifies all of the federal programs that were administered, as well as the agencies, the federal agencies that those funds came from, that provided those funds, whether or not they were pass-through programs, like from another government, or they came directly from a federal government agency. And they're categorized
So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Madam Chair, for a further breakdown of the grant programs that you were just talking about, you might want to look at page 125 and 126 as well. It just gives that breakdown.
Yeah,
of,
thank you very much.
The actual programs, and then what you were referring to as well on 128 is the, the schedule of
right.
findings and that kind of thing. So I think you might want to start on page 125 and kind of work your way through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, I said 128. Actually, I was talking about 125.
Okay, well,
I'm sorry.
excellent.
I'm
So
sorry.
125, there
Yeah,
we go.
125 is a list of every program. It identifies who the funding agency is, the name of the program, and then the federal, we call it a CFDA number, but it's the federal financial assistance listing number. And the thing about these programs is that when we select it, at the onset of the audit, we have to evaluate each one of these programs to determine whether or not it's a major program. And then we have to identify all of the indirect and direct compliance requirements. And we're required to test every one of those compliance requirements that the federal government says that we have to test for. But in making the selection, we go through their formula process that they've identified under the Single Audit Act and selecting the ones that have to be audited. And the whole idea behind that is that if you use Banks Finley to audit your federal programs, or if you use another firm to audit your federal programs, we all got to go through the same process of determining what's going to be major and what has to be audited. But they're right there on that page. They got their federal assistance listing, whether it's a pass-through grant, a specific grant ID number that's specific to Rockdale County, and then, of course, the amount of federal expenditures. Now, these are the amount of federal expenditures. They're not the amount of federal awards. This is what was actually expended, what was either accrued or actually paid out in cash, and this is what you reported. You were reporting to the federal government of what you did. Now, we had to file this report electronically, this schedule, and as well as the other documents with the Federal Clearinghouse, so they actually have it on file right now, these programs, and then so these individual federal agencies might pull up their section and look at it, and then they'll say, okay, I'm good, let's move to the next one, or they may have a question. And I don't think y'all have received any questions from them. So we should
Very good.
they've accepted it, and it should be good to go.
Okay, very good. During the audit, is there any comparison to what we were awarded and what we actually spent?
Yes.
Okay,
We get a copy of the grant agreement, and we see what the contract amount is and what you're supposed to be getting. And then, and we use that only as a reference, okay? But we don't use that as a basis for selecting a program. Because you could be awarded a $1 million grant and only spend $25,000.
Right.
That program wouldn't be audited. But if you spend $750, it's going to get audited. But yes,
Okay.
we do make a comparison.
and are those on a separate page in this
No,
audit?
no, we
Okay.
don't include that's something that we could do. There's nothing that prohibits us from adding another column and saying
Okay.
award amount.
Yes.
And if that's something that y'all want to see, we can certainly do that.
I
We got
think
a little
that would
flexibility.
be helpful for us to
Okay,
see
yeah.
that moving forward.
Yeah, the only issue that ever comes in with that is that sometimes these grants are multiple year grants.
Yes.
And you may have a $250,000 grant, well, let me go a little higher, $1 million grant that covers 3 years. And so if you see that $1 million in there as the award amount, you have to make sure you understand that this may be just the amount that was awarded for a 3-year period. But I need to look over here at this expenditure column to understand that this is just what I spent for that year. Yeah.
Okay,
But yeah, we can do that. That might be helpful.
all right, very good. Are there any other questions that you have?
So this is awesome.
Yeah.
It's always good to get a really clean, clear report. So thank you very much for your work.
Thank you. All
It's
right.
been a pleasure having you
All right,
today.
it was
Thank you so
Pleasure
much.
being here, and now I got to fight that traffic.
I know, we tried to get you out early.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, we will move into public comment, but before we start, I'd just like to take a moment to let everyone know that public comment does have some restrictions on it, so I'm going to let our clerk go over some of those points.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We do have 3 minutes per speaker, and items that are currently going through the public hearing process, items that are in active litigation, political campaigning and partisan politics are not allowed during public comment. We know some of you are here today to talk about a certain development that may or may not be coming. We cannot talk about that in specific details either. That is also prohibited as well. And between Madam Chair and myself will give you proper guidance as you approach the podium this morning.
Very good.
Thanks. Or this afternoon. I apologize.
So for those that want to speak today, let me clarify what all that means for you. So as you approach the podium, you are welcome to talk about economic development principles you'd like to see in Rockdale County, or commercial ventures or things like that, but you can't speak specifically about a company, okay? Because it falls under the rules that Ms. Rutledge just spoke about. So we will go ahead and get started with Carmen Council.
Hi, my name is Carmen Council.
If you'll pull it down just a little bit so that we can hear
Okay.
you. Thank you.
And I'm a retired educational therapist. I
Oh,
work with
good.
students that had learning problems since the 1990s here in this area.
Great.
Okay, and what I'd like to talk about today is our neighborhood. Our neighborhood on Sigmund Road has been a great neighborhood. It's on the south side, and it's been a great neighborhood to raise children. They ride bikes, they catch the school buses. They're right on Sigmund Road and it has been a great place. And we are concerned with the possible development of the land right there on Sigmund Road for the travel center that they want to put there, because one of the things is that when you drive down that road, it says, I mean, you can see that it's a residential area. You don't have to get far down it, you can see it. There are signs already on the piece of land there that they want to develop that says, no big trucks down this way. There's no way to turn around at the end. We have seen trucks go down that road. We've had, they block the road, we can't get out. They have to call the police to help them get out, or either the neighbors are going out and they're saying, okay, back up a foot, pull ahead 15 inches, and it takes a long time. And as working with people, and I think about truck drivers pulling out of that development onto Sigmund Road, and you think, well, they're not paying attention because they're looking at their phone or something like that. Well, that's their fault. No, not really. It's where we suffer if they're not paying attention. And so we would like, and one of those signs that says no trucks beyond this point on that piece of land has been spray painted over. So we'd like for you to know that. And we also would like for you to know that the when we look at all this, we would think about all of the noise in the neighborhood. This is 1,600 feet from the entrance to my subdivision right there, my street. That's how far away this travel center on that piece of land is going to be. And the noise all the time, and the huge amount of cars and trucks coming in all the time. And our exit there is not prepared to be able to work with this. It would have to be redone, and I can't even imagine them being able to redo it for 7,000 cars a day.
Thank you very much, Ms. Council. All right, next we have Christine Mize.
Good afternoon.
Good morning.
I'm speaking to the same proposal that Carmen was speaking of. And I have a copy of an ordinance that all of y'all signed April the 8th of last year, and it strictly prohibits what's going in that area. There are several things in here. The exposure to citizens from the environmental impacts of the gasoline stations, including emissions of volatile organic compounds and other toxins, and risks of groundwater contamination and increased traffic congestion and air pollution should be reduced. And by putting that in there, you're going against everything that you voted for. Also, there's an item in here that you said they shall not be established adjacent to a residential district. Well, this property backs up to residential homes, personal homes. And also it says they shouldn't be within 100 feet of a lot that is zoned to residential classification, which is pretty close. There are homes in that border that immediate area. There's also one that says there shall be a minimum distance of 1 mile measured from the nearest points of lot boundaries between a proposed gasoline service station and any existing gasoline. Well, there's one right on the corner and then there's one right down the corner. I mean, they're just across the bridge from each other. I live on Cedar Lane, which backs up to the property that's adjacent there. And this proposed building site goes against everything that y'all have passed with this ordinance. And I'm wondering what changed, because that's just been 10 months ago that y'all signed this into law. And it just doesn't make sense that in 10 months' time, something that big has come up to put something this gigantic in our neighborhood. It's going to change the values of all our properties. The noise and the pollution and the runoff, the groundwater runoff, it's already a bad flood stage back through those woods. It just, we have bad storms, it's terrible. And to put all that concrete up there, it's not protecting the citizens. And that's what you were elected to do, was protect your citizens of this county. And I just wanted to mention that what it would do to the neighborhood and the pollution. And you've already got townhouses that have been proposed, and the property right directly across from that has already been zoned for commercial. And so that's even more commercial activity going in there right in all of our backyards. And I'd just like to speak for my neighbors to say that we're opposed to that. And please don't change your proposal. You did that for the good of the county when you proposed this ordinance. And I just think that you need to stand by what you said in the beginning instead of trying to change everything again within 10 months. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we have Mr. Westmore. Whitmore, sorry.
Okay, my name is Wendell Whitmore. I've been a resident of Rockdale County now for 83 years. Been in business, small business out here for about 25 years, just down the road here in the Sonic building. Had a little business run out of it there. Been involved in most everything that's happened here in those 83 years, one way or the other, good or bad. And did y'all say we couldn't talk about buckets at this time? Or
You can't talk about any specific company.
Any what?
Specific company.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
I said it come. Okay. Well, we go back to about 4 months ago. I realized there was such a thing as buckets. At that time, I had been in one, and I didn't pay any attention to the name of it because it was such a massive operation that I was looking for the restroom, and by the time I found the restroom, I needed to go. It was that big. I stepped out of the restroom. I said, "This is more than I've ever seen before," I think. And so I looked on the wall, and in the men's restroom, I found a total of 36 nameplates for bathrooms in that one building. I didn't go in the women's bathroom, so I have to assume that. But I can imagine the runoff, but just from the bathrooms alone, there, that's going to have to be controlled. But like the rest of us, well, let me back off a little. I want to talk about the dangers of the truck stop and the storage of the gasoline and so forth on the side and the mountain along the I-20 corridor there and the other corridors and the train traffic. Can I talk about all of them? Oh, okay. I won't take 83 years here, so y'all don't get upset with me at this point in time. But I appreciate the ordinance she was talking about. I stumbled up on that immediately when I first heard about it. As some of you may have known, the first thing I needed to do, I had some sickness over the last few years, like all the other old folks in that subdivision. when we started trying to get organized for this, we drew up some petitions and so forth, was planning to get started, and about 90% of the people we had campaigned with before has passed away or moved out of the county by now. So, but we got a good representation of the ones who are here with me today. But anyhow, in this traveling around and checking what's going on in our neighborhood, which is the Sigmund Road I-20 interchange, as most of you know, that traffic has, in the last 2 years, has doubled at least out there. And we got the train tracks through there that comes out through about probably 5 in the morning with the horns blowing or something like that. So,
Well, thank you very much for your comments today. I appreciate them.
okay.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, we'll move to the approval of the agenda. Thank you.
I move to approve the agenda as published.
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, the motion carries. Next, we have approval of the minutes from January 27th, 2026.
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. We don't have any unfinished business for item 6, so we'll move to new business, item number 7. And Madam Clerk, if you will just read continuously for each
Sure.
page, and then we'll vote, if that's
just
okay.
Stop me when you're ready.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, item 75 is with the American Red Cross through the Fire Rescue Department for facility use parking at Fire Station number 8 for disaster relief. This is at no cost and effective until 30 days written notice upon termination. Item 76 is with Tori Bryant through the Chief Superior Court 1 for peer support services for the Stepping Up Initiative in an amount not to exceed $30,000. The term is December 15th, 2025 through December 15th, 2026. This is grant funded and is a budgeted item. Item 77 is with the Georgia Recreation and Parks Association, GRPA, through the Parks and Recreation Department for the Boost 2.0 grant to assist with expanding the summer program. The amount is $12,500. This is for 1 year. This is grant funded and is a budgeted item. Item 78 is with Donald Lau through the Parks and Recreation Department for the Tennis Pro contract for tennis lessons. It's a 70-30 split in share of the revenue. This is for 1 year with option to renew 2 additional 12-month periods. This is renewable each year and is to the general fund.
I make a motion to approve all the contracts,
So item 75.
75 through 78 as presented.
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
Item 79 is with Lloyd Johnson through the Parks and Recreation Department for Tennis Pro contract for tennis lessons. It's an 85-15 split in share of the revenue. This is for 1 year with option to renew 2 additional 12-month periods, renewable each year. This is through the general fund. Item 80 is with Michael McGuckin through the Parks and Recreation Department for Tennis Pro contract for tennis lessons. It's a 70-30 split in the share of the revenue for 1 year with option to renew 2 additional 12-month periods, renewable each year. This is through the general fund.
Madam Chair, excuse me. Can we get explanation as to the difference in the percentages, please?
I was just going to ask that.
So I
same
can actually
question.
explain too. No, Director Carney, if you want to come out. I just wanted to say a few things about it, that we have been working collectively with Michael over at the tennis program. As we continue to look for opportunities to balance our budget and drive revenue enhancements, we feel like there's a lot of opportunity for growth in memberships at the tennis center. And so this allows the coaches to bring more people in, which was a problem in the past, that people weren't bringing as many people in for lessons, and they were doing like having them at subdivisions and things like that. So this brings everybody together. And the tiered system is based on years of experience and credentialing. So.
That's it. That's exactly.
I mean,
Just there for support, right?
Yes.
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, so there's a few of them that you'll see, but it is based on their qualifications and their years of experience. So.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to keep going. Okay, item 81 is with Residential Enhancements Incorporated doing business as RE Global through the Parks and Recreation Department for landscape and grounds maintenance services for countywide sites. The amount is $45,000. This is for 1 year with option to renew 3 additional 1-year periods, renewable each year. This is through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Item 82 is with CSG Forte Payment for Parks and Recreation Department to adjust pricing schedule for the recreation programs and services. It's change order number 1 to contract 2025-142. There's a convenience fee to customers in an amount of 3.1% or the minimum of $1 per transaction. This is for 5 years through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Item 83 is with All South Constructors Incorporated through the Water Resources Department for additional repairs needed to pump number 2 at the water treatment plant. It's change order number 1 to contract 2025-104. The original amount was $127,270 plus the additional cost of $5,757 for a total amount of $133,027. It's at net 30 days through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 84 is with Chemtrade Chemicals US LLC through the Water Resources Department to provide water treatment plant with polyaluminum chloride on an as-needed basis at 27 cents per pound. The estimated total cost is $207,360. This is for 1 year with option to renew 2 additional 12-month terms through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Do you want to take these? Keep going? Okay. Item 85 is with Fortiline Waterworks LLC through the Water Resources Department for supply and maintain inventory at the Tatum Road warehouse for daily use to repair and replace service lines. The amount is $1,033,007.59. This is for 1 year with option to renew 3 additional 1-year terms through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 86 is with Delta Municipal Supply Company through the Water Resources Department to supply and maintain inventory at the Tatum Road warehouse for daily use to repair and replace service lines. The amount is $379,678.70. This is for 1 year with option to renew 3 additional 1-year terms through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 87 is with Ferguson Enterprises, DB doing business as Ferguson Waterworks through the Water Resources Department to supply and maintain inventory at the Tatum Road warehouse for daily use to repair and replace service lines. The amount is $2,437,301.75. This is for 1 year with option to renew 3 additional 1-year terms through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 88 is with Gresham Smith through the Transportation Department for the Comprehensive Transportation Plan. This is change order number 2 to contract 2024-54. It's a time extension only to extend the term through July 31st, 2026. Item 89 is with the Georgia Department of Transportation through the Transportation Department for the Local Maintenance and Improvement Grant, the LMIG application for 2026. Through the local government affidavit and certification and the signature only and is submitted for ratification.
Madam Clerk, can you hold there for a minute, please? Director Kelly, can you address what the LMIG, why it's so important and what we hope to gain with the application for 2026?
Good morning, good afternoon, Commissioners, Chair. So the Local Maintenance Improvement Grant is one of the series of grants that we get through the state of Georgia that helps us address some of our most pressing needs. This time for SPLOST that runs every 6 years, we attacked our major roads. This one we've turned for these local maintenance improvement grants for our subdivision roads and our other roads that may be less than the high profile ones, 5,000 cars or less. So it still allows us to address issues that come up with our roads and try and upgrade our infrastructure and our paving conditions in the county.
Okay. Do you know on this LMIG what the ask was for?
This year was about 1.4. It goes slightly
Million?
up every, yeah. And so we'll have CESA 70-30 split. They'll come with the 70%. And so it's roughly about $300,000 to $400,000 depending on the amount of roads you can get into that.
Okay, very good. But we hope for more with the governor's commitment to
So typically what they do
transportation.
is this one is a standalone.
Okay.
And whenever there's an overage, the governor will allow a second round of roads.
Okay.
And if there's more, he'll do other iterations.
So we're still waiting
So
for
this
that
is the
application?
this is the first one. Yes.
Okay.
This
Very
is the first one. Then if there's more, there'll be something in the summer, sometimes in June, May or June,
Okay.
another round. So.
Okay. Very
And
good.
plot twist, there is another one coming. We will get that one for this summer, and
Okay.
it is coming our way. And then also with the, what the state legislature is looking at right now is even more. And this time we'll be focused on rehabs of our local bridges. And I think Director Kelly and I have already been talking about that to get
Correct.
that list ready so we can jump on it, so.
Okay. Very
Just
good.
waiting for things to drop so we can officially go chase it.
Very good.
Do you like to keep going, or do you want to take these items?
We
now?
can go ahead and take these
Okay, so we
items.
left off at item 79.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve item 79 through item 89.
I second the motion.
Very good. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
Okay, item 90 is with the Atlanta Regional Commission through the Transportation Department. This is an amendment to the sub-grant agreement for signature only and is submitted for ratification. Item 91 is with Price Transparency Analytics, doing business as Know the Cost through Human Resources Department. This is the benefit for employees to save on co-pays, deductibles, and co-insurance if utilized. No impact on the insurance carrier's health plans. The amount base is on usage, no fixed contract. This is for a 90-day written notice to cancel through the general fund and is a budgeted item.
It doesn't have a cost on here, so Director Holmes, can you talk about the cost that would be added?
Look at the time. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Commissioners. So the cost is no cost of co-pays, deductibles, and co-insurance for the employees. It is going to be billed directly to Rockdale County, as we currently do with our current health plan provider, with us being self-insured, and it's only for outpatient radiology and orthopedic surgery providers. So the benefit is using these providers at a lower cost than a high-cost hospital. So it's going to be education-based, sharing it with our employees that they can go here as an alternative to going to some of the hospitals that they would go to. So it's made to do a reduction in terms of our claims as well.
Which will ultimately help us reduce our increases in years moving forward for health insurance
Yes,
costs.
ma'am. So claim payments to know the cost are not included in our carrier historical claims. So that will, just like your regular insurance, if there's no claim there, it helps possibly reduce the premium on the insurance.
So basically using a private opportunities for people to get services and things like that.
Correct. Private, accredited, also accredited through our healthcare providers. These are going to be lower private cost providers for these orthopedic services.
And I will say, years ago, I had an MRI, and at the hospital, it was going to be about $2,900, and the private provider was like $850. So it was a pretty significant difference. So
Right. So they have all the prices there, and they're going to be making sure that they send out notices to our employees as well. So it's knowing the providers.
very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 92 is with OpenGov through the Finance Department. This is for budgeting and planning and enterprise integration for a renewal, and it's change order number 1 to contract 2023-49. The amount is $66,738.82. The term is May 1st, 2026 through April 30th, 2027. This is through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Item 93 is with Motorola Solutions through the Emergency Management Agency for 2026 radio subscriber. This is a renewal and change order number 5 to contract 2020-146. The amount is $77,718.75. The term is January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. This is through the Emergency 911 Tower Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 94 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for BW Power Sports doing business as Byron Outdoor Superstore. This is for the easement for the off-road vehicle. This is in the amount of $43,261.97 through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 95 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Hill Manufacturing Company for general supplies for upkeep at the water treatment plant for 2026. The amount is $15,000 through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 96 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Index Laboratories for laboratory supplies as needed to test water at the water treatment plant for 2026. The amount of $16,000 through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 97 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Q's Incorporated for the cloud-based software GraniteNet web server implementation that will facilitate the synchronization and integration of tasks and data associated with the sewer infrastructure. The amount is $65,230. This is through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 98 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Hatch Company for laboratory supplies for testing the water at the water treatment plant for 2026. The amount is $42,000. This is through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Would you like to keep going? Or?
And can I have Deputy Director Bond come up and speak about item 94 for the off-road vehicle?
Good afternoon, Chair.
Good afternoon,
Commissioners. So a lot of times during our sewer rehabilitation and our sewer projects, we go into places where there's a lot of standing water or high water places, and it's dangerous for us to go in there and really get to where we need to get to. And so be able to access these on the easements, we have a vehicle now that will give us access to be able to get to those easements and kind of do all the work that we are doing out there on our easements. Many times our workers go up there, that water can be knee high and sometimes waist high. And so it's something for safety for us to be able to get out there and be able to still do the work without there being a safety risk and a delay in the project for them trying to get out there and get the work done.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
you all.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Keep going? Okay. Item 99 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Fisher Scientific. This is for laboratory supplies as needed for use by field water treatment plant for the quality techs to collect the water samples for testing for 2026. The amount is $15,000. This is through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 100 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for USA Blue Book for laboratory and safety supplies as needed to test the water treated at the water treatment plant for 2026. The amount is $16,000 through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 101 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for RDJE for Hunters Point Water Main Upgrade. The amount is $915,292.40. This is through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 102 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Woolpert for the Honey Creek and Scott Creek Basins SSES services. The amount is $600,751.93 through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item.
Can we stop right there?
Yes.
And Deputy Director Vaughn, can you come back up? And just for ratepayers at home, of course, Rockdale Water Resources is an enterprise fund, so you guys bring in your own money from ratepayers and users. And so can you talk a little bit about Project 101 and 102. 101 being Hunters Point Water Main Upgrade for $915,292.40.
Certainly. So there's, that particular area actually feeds quite a few areas. One is Belmont Village also. And what we've noticed, there's a lot of water main breaks out there continuously. And so what we've decided to do is to go out there and make sure we can make some significant repairs so that there aren't water main breaks or interruption to our services. You know, when we think about water resources, there's a lot of aging infrastructure out there that we have to go out there and make sure that we're making repairs. So number one, that we can still deliver clean water, that we're not losing water, and that our customers and citizens don't have an interruption to their water. And so this particular project, for those that have some historical, you know, we have certain places where we get quite a few breaks, and we want to try to mitigate that and ensure we don't have that moving forward with some of our other problem spots.
Okay.
You also asked about
102.
102.
The Honey Creek and Scott Creek basins.
Another basin where we are, and just to kind of give us an overview of how we try to do some of even our sewer work, we try to understand and rehab basins, right? Because if we're going all over the place, it becomes difficult for us to catch it, right? But Honey Creek and our Scott Creek basins also have some of our sanitary sewer treatment where we actually are doing. And so it's important to ensure that we don't have what we call infiltration and inflow that's entering into our system. And so what this allows us to do, it gives us flow monitoring. So it allows us to actually capture and understand what type of water is coming into the system, at what rate, if we have heavy rain events. It's looking at all of that data, and then we're taking that data back, and we're able now to make repairs in places that need significant repair.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you all.
If you'll continue.
Item 103 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Granger for general supplies for the water treatment plant for 2026. The amount is $20,000 through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 104 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Southeastern Agri-Systems for general parts and supplies needed to maintain systems within the water treatment plant for 2026. The amount is $20,000 through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 105 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Delta Municipal Supply for AMI Annual Software Services Neptune 360. The amount is $71,039.66. This is through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 106 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Momar Solutions for general supplies, specialty tools, and equipment to support the water treatment plant systems, maintenance and upkeep efforts for 2026. The amount is $15,000 through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 107 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Ecotech for parts and supplies used for maintaining water treatment plant for 2026. The amount is $25,000 through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 108 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Southeastern Industrial Plastics for general parts and supplies used for the maintenance and repairs needed on systems and pumps at the water treatment plant for 2026. The amount is $15,000 through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 109 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Vortex Services for the 2026 sewer rehabilitation of manholes and pipes. The amount is $3,999,980.51. This is through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 110 is a requisition through the General Services Department for James River Solutions, JRS, for the primary fuel provider for unleaded and diesel fuel for Rockdale County for 2026. The amount is $1,335,000 through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Item 111 is a requisition through the General Services Department for Mansfield Oil Company as a secondary fuel provider for the unleaded and diesel fuel for Rockdale County for 2026. The amount is $392,500. This is through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Item 112 is a requisition through the General Services Department for Pratt Recycling for bulk waste and trash compactor recycling for 2026. The amount is $444,000, and this is through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Keep going. Okay. Item 113 is a requisition through the Transportation Department for Atlas Technical Consultants for the scope of services and fees for on-call contract for the design and program management services. The amount is $100,000. This is through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Item 114 is an expenditure request through BILT for Human Resources Department for advanced organizational chart design, position management, annual prepayment. The term is November 30th, 2025 through November 29th, 2026. The amount is $26,400. This is through the general fund and is a budgeted item.
Director Holmes, can you explain this one for us?
Good afternoon again. Oh, sorry. Good afternoon again. So, built, what is it built for? I'm super excited about it. It actually is integrated with ADP. So it's currently in our ADP system. It does do financial oversight and budget control. So right now, if you guys were to ask me how many vacancies did we have in stormwater, which I received a request for that earlier, that's going to be me pulling a spreadsheet and we're going to count versus what's on the org chart. This system actually does real-time visibility into filled and vacant positions. It also budgets for those vacant positions as well. More accurate salary and benefits projections. As you guys know, right now we currently do that in Excel, sometimes with a calculator. This is actually pulling, my favorite part is that it pulls directly from ADP and it does it overnight. So every time we add or term someone, it will pull that accurate information for us. So budget approval checkpoints within the requisition process. So we'll be able to do requisitions to post positions via the built system because it's directly tied into ADP as well. And improved forecasting for new positions, reorganizations, and compensation adjustments. So those are some of the things that BILT will do. So that's what it's built for. That's the name of the technology as well, but it is integrated directly in ADP.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Item 115 is an expenditure request through Tyler Technologies for the Clerk of Court's office for annual renewal of the account manager maintenance and support for all divisions utilizing Odyssey software. The amount is $53,285.50. This is through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Item 116 is for policies 2016-1-22 as amended for the Grants Management Policy Manual, and this is submitted for ratification. Item 117 is with Gauls through the Fire Rescue Department for fire uniforms. This is for the renewal of change order number 1 to contract 2025-16. Due to inflation costs and tariffs, prices are increasing by 7%. This is a unit price for 1 year with option to renew 3 additional 1-year terms through the general fund and is a budgeted item.
The amount is not listed on here, though.
I'm sorry?
The amount is not listed? Is there a reason?
Let's
Because
see
it's
if
a
there's optional amount.
I think because it's a percentage.
Whatever it is, it's increased by 7%.
Yeah.
For Gauls, let me just look it up. Yeah.
Chief.
So it's the
Chief,
price
would you-
list.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a price
unit
list.
price, so they're all 7%, so,
Yeah, so we,
yeah.
good morning, or good afternoon.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
No,
we actually budget out, this is just for the Nomex uniforms, it's not like the one I'm wearing today. So it's the Nomex uniforms that you see the firefighters wearing every day. So they're given a certain budgeted amount, a certain dollar amount, they can log in and order what they need. So it's the price of those uniforms, whatever they order. So a shirt that's typically, I want to say $100, it would now be $107. So it just depends on what we spend.
Okay. While we have you up here, can you give us an update on the recruit class?
Yes, ma'am. I'd be happy to. So the current one or the one we got coming up, or both?
Current one, and then just advertising.
We're excited
for
about both of them.
this Saturday. Yes.
So, we currently have, we started with 17. We ended the fire portion with 10. 2 of them were already EMTs, so they actually are already on shift. One of them had his first fire last night, so that was interesting. And so we have 8 currently in EMT school, and they're all doing very well. I expect all of them to be successful in that. So hopefully middle of April, they'll be out on shift, and that much needed addition to our force. We're also hiring approximately 25, a new recruit class will also start in April. We're just going to go right into the next one, and that will fill all of our vacant positions. And we did our physical agility test and written test this morning. We've already done one, and I think we ended up with 10. We did one this morning. We ended up with another 10 or 11. So hopefully we'll do one more, and we'll have the amount of people we need to do a 25-person recruit class.
Okay. Well, and you and I have talked through the years about how important it is in those recruit classes. They start off earning a salary. Sometimes they have no experience at all.
That's correct.
But have a love and a passion for working with the fire department. So they think, right?
Yes, well, 7 of them found out they didn't. So
yeah. So, but from the county's perspective, it's much better to find out those 7 aren't a good fit up front, and because their training is roughly 24 weeks.
It's right at 26 weeks.
26 weeks. But for those that were already EMTs, they saved 13 of those weeks that they didn't have to attend. So there's a lot of financial savings in those opportunities. Absolutely. And so I appreciate you making great selections up front and putting the effort in.
Yes, ma'am. We've completely revamped our process. We're doing standardized cognitive testing that kind of goes in line with one of our biggest issues is passing the standardized testing. It's really hard. EMT test has gotten ridiculous, even since I took it years ago, how hard it is. I'd hate to know I had to go back and redo it, So we're trying to make sure we get the right fit of people to start with, and that's really helped out a lot. And in this class that's going on now, the ones that made it all the way through the fire portion, they all passed the written test, which has traditionally been the struggle. So we start with fire now instead of EMS, because a lot of times you can get through EMS and you get through that cognitive side of it. But once you realize a burning building or a enclosed mask where you're breathing air is not for you, now we've invested the first 28 weeks into, or 20 weeks into you, and now we're putting you in a burning building. So, whoa, I'll just go do the EMT thing, and now they're working on an ambulance somewhere. Right. So, and we just want to make sure that we put them through that. And another part of our testing is, so like this morning when they're doing the physical agility test, the first thing we do, they're all, they just got done doing all this physical stuff, and they're breathing real hard, and we put a blacked out mask on them. That's got a restricted air passage on them. So immediately they figure out how claustrophobic they are, and that's what gets a lot of people. They put that mask on the first time. They say, no, that's it, I'm done. So it's we've made some small adjustments that have made big improvements on the testing. So
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 118 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Xylem Water Solutions USA for the flag products. This is for the old Salem Pump Station 2 repairs. The amount is $50,314.29. This is through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 119 is with Lagnapay. Okay. All right, thank you. What he said. Development Company through the General Services Department for renovations to the community garden at the Parker Road. This is $198,444.75. This is 120 days from the notice to proceed. This is through grant and impact fee funded and is a budgeted item. Item 120 is a requisition through the Technology Services Department for DICES Solutions. This is for 3 48-port switches for the mental health ward in the Sheriff's Office. The amount is $60,058.47. This is SPLOST funded and is a budgeted item. Item 121 is a requisition through the General Services Department for Physical Link Communication for on-site data storage server for the mental health ward cameras. The amount is $28,425. This is SPLOST funded and is a budgeted item. Item 122 is with Corporate Environmental Risk Management, CERM, through the Water Resources Department for 2026 contract, $200,000 for asset inventory management, $910,000 for engineering staff augmentation, $1 million for 2026 sewer rehab program, $500,000 for the 2026 sewer preventative maintenance, for a total of $2,610,000 for 1 year with option to renew 4 additional 1-year periods unless terminated. This is through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. So, Madam Chair and Commissioners, if we would like to take a pause right here, we ended at item 90 and we've gone up through item 122 before we get to the readings of the zoning ordinances.
Okay, very good.
So I move to approve the requisitions and the expenditure requests and the contracts, items 90 through 122.
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
I have a motion and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. The motion carries.
Okay. Item 123 is future land use case 2025-03, an ordinance to amend the future land use map of Rockdale County, Georgia comprehensive plan as amended for property located at Northwest Farmer Road and 2000 Irwin Bridge Road Northwest from low-density residential agricultural future land use category to the technology park future land use category, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a first reading.
I move to approve the first reading and refer this ordinance to the Planning Commission as presented.
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
And just a note for the record that this means that this ordinance will be heard by the Planning Commission and then come back to us for.
That's correct.
Final.
Yes. So the public would have opportunities to
Actually,
attend.
2 public hearings
Yes.
in front of the Planning Commission and in front of the Board of Commissioners. That's correct.
That's right. All right. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. The motion carries.
Item 124 is rezoning case 2025-08, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended by rezoning Northwest Farmer Road and 2000 Irwin Bridge Road Northwest from CRS Collaborative Residential Subdivision District to M2 General Industrial District, to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a first reading.
Madam Chair, I move to approve this first reading and to refer this ordinance to the Planning Commission.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
Item 125 is future land use case 2025-05, an ordinance to amend the future land use map of Rockdale County, Georgia, comprehensive plan as amended for property located at 1921 Rockbridge Road Northwest and 1901 Rockbridge Road Northwest from medium-density residential future land use category to the technology park future land use category, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a first reading.
I move to approve the first read and to refer this ordinance to the Planning Commission.
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries.
Item 126 is rezoning case 2025-11, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended by rezoning 1921 and 1901 Rockbridge Road Northwest from R1 Single Family Residential District to M2 General Industrial District, to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a first reading.
Madam Chair, I move to approve this first reading and to refer this ordinance to the Planning Commission as presented.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
Item 127 is future land use case 2025-07, an ordinance to amend the future land use map of Rockdale County, Georgia's comprehensive plan as amended for property located at 2002 Rockbridge Road Northwest from medium density residential future land use category to the technology park future land use category, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a first reading.
I move to approve the first reading and refer this ordinance to the Planning Commission as presented.
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
Item 128 is rezoning case 2025-13, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended by rezoning 2002 Rockbridge Road Northwest from R1 Single Family Residential District to M2 General Industrial District to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a first reading.
Madam Chair, I move to approve this first reading and to refer this ordinance to the Planning Commission as presented.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 The motion carries.
Okay, item 129 is with Rochester DCCM for the Water Resources Department. This is for Tall Oak Sewer Main Extension, change order number 1 to contract 2025-66. It's an additional survey work that's needed for the design and easement acquisition due to modification of proposed sewer main route. The amount is $11,500. This is for 12 months from the notice to proceed through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
Okay. Item 130 is with Flock Safety through the General Services Department for property license agreement to hold harmless flock safety for 2 existing City of Conyers cameras on the Magistrate Probate Building. This is at no cost and no limit. It's until it's revoked. Would you like me to keep going?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Item 131 is with Calgon Carbon Corporation through the Water Resources Department. This is for 2 granular activated carbon filters for the water treatment plant. The amount is $534,520. It's 90 days after the date of delivery through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 132 is with Evelyn Terez Carmichael for the Chief Superior Court 1 for peer support services for the Stepping Up Initiative, an amount not to exceed $30,000. The term is December 15th, 2025 through December 15th, 2026. This is grant funded and is a budgeted item. Item 133 is with Corey Gaddy through the Coroner's Office for the Deputy Coroner Independent Contractor. The amount is $175 per call on an as-needed basis. This is for 1 year with option to renew 4 additional 1-year periods renewable each year unless terminated. This is through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Item 134 is with the Association County Commissioners of Georgia Civic Affairs Foundation through the Human Resources Department for the 2026 GCIP Grant Award for Rockdale County Succession Planning and Leadership Development Intern. The amount is $3,259.50, and the internship is with a $400 cost share. The term is May 1st, 2026 through September 1st, 2026. This is through the general fund. Item 135 is an expenditure request for Pratt Recycling through the General Services Department for bulk waste and trash pickup at the Transfer and Recycling Center. The amount is $24,970.60. This is through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Item 136 is with AMSYS Innovative Solutions through the General Services Department for the low voltage audio video work and network equipment for the JAC. The amount is $3,840,405.82. This is an 18-month term. This is through the JAC fund and is a budgeted item. Item 137 is volunteer appointments for the Keep Conyers Rockdale Beautiful Advisory Council for Deidre Samda, filling the unexpired term of CJ Lester, which is March 2025 through March 2029, and Tommy Plummer, filling the unexpired term of Nala Eldridge for March 2025 through March 2029. Item 138 is a resolution of the Rockdale County Board of Commissioners acknowledging and authorizing the implementation of the environmental health fees as adopted by the Rockdale County Board of Health.
So we need to talk about that one. I was able to contact Joseph Sternberg, I think is his last name, who's the COO for GNR, the health department, asking him about the raises and increases in costs, and he said that they had not been increased in 14 years, and that our approving this will then make them equal to Gwinnett and Newton that approved those fees last year.
I know that when I reviewed it, I had concerns because some of the prices were like tripling the fees that people would have to pay for everything from swimming pools to other permits. So I was concerned about that.
So did you want to reach out to him and talk ask specifically about those, or?
I could do that, yeah. Sue, do you want to shed light on that?
I mean, we could defer it to the next meeting and have them come and speak, or
I think that might be appropriate.
it's whatever.
That's what I prefer.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so I'll read the last agenda item, and then we can go back and decide. Okay.
Okay.
So item 139 is with United Way of Greater Atlanta. It's a memorandum of understanding, contract for services. The term is February 2nd, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. The amount is $100,000. This is through the general fund and is a budgeted item. So we left off at item 130.
So let's talk about 139 and what that's going to be used for. What is the contract with United Way entail?
This contract, you want me to talk, or am I? Okay. This, I just want to make sure you weren't talking to someone else. It establishes a partnership between Rockdale County and the United Way to implement their program called Pathways to Home, and it's for Rockdale County first-time home buyer. It's a program, and it's going to be offered up to, for our employees, up to 20 employees here, and the savings that they'll get, they have to match, and they have to save up to $4,500, and this will be for them to support them to purchase a home. We're going to have a presentation a little bit later with all the details, but this is what their program is about.
So the $100,000, that's what we're paying them?
We are, yes, that's one of the, it's a part of the grant funding, yes.
Okay.
And the United Way is actually providing additional $25,000 to us for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Do you have a motion?
So what
So
if we make a
130.
motion for 130 through 137 to approve those appointments and contracts as presented?
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. And I would like to make a motion for item 138 to defer the resolution until the next regularly scheduled board meeting.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All
Nay.
those opposed?
Nay.
No.
Okay.
Let the record reflect. The motion carries.
Okay. So item 139.
Correct. I'd like to make a motion to approve item 139.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The
Thank
motion
you.
carries. And at this
you,
time,
thank
we'll
you.
move to board comments. Commissioner Williams, would you like to start?
Let me find my page that has my notes on it.
Do you want me to let Commissioner start?
Well, just give me a second. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. So since we met last time, which has been several weeks, one of the things we did was the point-in-time count for the homeless. And the night that it is normally scheduled at a night, and the night that it was scheduled was that night that we had that ice storm coming in. So they postponed it, and they did it over 3 or 4 days a couple weeks later. It did not count as many people, probably almost half as many as we have had in previous point-in-time counts. And as we talked about some of the reasons for that, I think because some of those people leave during the day. and go different places. So my concern is that count and time affects grant funding. And so, because we would have to anticipate a loss in grant funding because the numbers were lower. I'm just commenting.
But we've never had grant funding dedicated that's been used, have we?
I don't know.
No.
For homelessness? No.
Okay. Okay. I had a meeting with Pastor Ray and Barbara Muse from Bold Ministries. They are looking at a senior housing development. Kevin Hanna was part of that meeting, and a person from the Conyers Housing Authority. They have some work to do still to build their capital stack and to get enough resources to do it, and it's going to take some time, but that would be a welcome addition to Rockdale County to have something for senior citizens. 2 weeks ago, I was at the Capitol for Community Service Board Day at the Capitol, which is always very interesting. And after hearing from the lobbyist for the CSBs, then we went to several different legislators to talk to them about the need for continued funding for mental health and substance use issues and developmental disabilities. The ones we were able to talk to were they all represented Gwinnett. Representative Taylor did come into the meeting, and so we had a chance to talk to her for just a few minutes. And so we continue to watch the legislation on Community Service Board funding and structures. Also, I had an opportunity to talk with a citizen last week who is part of the Citizens Academy. She was really excited about it. And what she loved the most was touring the water treatment plant. And she said when she saw all that, she realized why the rates are what they are, because there's so much, she had no idea so much went into it, and how it comes in, how it's treated, so I thought that was really fun that she really appreciated the Citizens Academy, and I think that's such a great thing that we need to keep doing that. Tomorrow is Mental Health Day at the Capitol, so I know there will be speakers down at the freight depot in the morning, and then opportunities to visit with legislators again in the afternoon. So I am planning on going to the Capitol again tomorrow. Those are my comments.
Okay. Commissioner Smith?
Yes, thank you. I just want to remind everyone that we still have constituent services through Congressman David Scott's office on Fridays from 10 to 12 at our library. And also, we're offering a free tax preparation service, and that's going to be provided by one of our community partners, the Accounting Cure, and that is held at Johnson Park now until April 16th. And that is on Thursdays from 5 to 7 and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And if you want to schedule an appointment, please call them at 770-678-8785, or you can go to their website at taxcure.org. And again, that number is 770-678-8785. Also, I would like to encourage you to tune in and follow our Rockdale Rise series that's on Channel 23 and also YouTube, where we feature local businesses to help them rise here in Rockdale. And also Beyond the Chain is a series that we have to feature restaurants that are not on the chain that we have here in Rockdale County. Also, I was at the Capitol last week to represent KCRB, and that was to receive the Governor's Circle Award, and I received that on behalf of KCRB and our community partners. We were chosen, and you have to be certified in good standing with Keep America Beautiful, and that is the committee that oversees everything in Georgia, all the committees in Georgia. And you are required to effect meaningful, positive, and lasting recycling, waste reduction, and beautification. And I just want to thank the members of KCRB and our chairperson, Darlisha Tillman, who does a wonderful job with organizing, being on the scene, making sure that we're able to receive distinctive honors like this. And I also would like to recognize one of our newest members, Ms. Deidre Sumda, who's here with us today. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the team. We're so glad to have you. And that is it. So I just want to also remind you guys that when everyone is included, everyone wins. Mm-hmm. And in the words of Jesse Jackson, let's keep hope alive.
Very good. Well, thank you. And thank both of you for your hard work in those specific areas.
Thank you.
It really makes everything run a lot smoother, so thank you. Mm-hmm. I did want to make sure that people knew that we did get our federal funding allotments. So we did get our $1.9 million for a second senior center satellite location.
Awesome.
We also received funding for a veterans van for transportation. That will be our second one. And we are in the works of getting our first one repainted. And then we also got funding appropriations for one more thing.
The trail.
$500,000 for our trail. And that would be our trail from Heritage High School to the monastery. So very good. And that'll be matched with funding from the Georgia Department of Transportation and our SPLOST subcommittee, SPLOST committee, which is our special purpose local option sales tax. So when you shop the Rock and you buy something here in Rockdale County, 4% of every dollar goes to the state, 3% stays right here in Rockdale County, and one is for the school system's capital campaign, school buildings, those kind of projects. Also, 1% will stay with us for our host credit on your tax bill for people that have homestead exemption, and then 1% is for SPLOST, which are all the projects that we get done throughout the county. So anyway, I did want to note that this Saturday, January 21st, is our job fair from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. There will be a variety of employers, so we hope that you'll come out, bring your resume. There will also some companies may have a paper application on site, so if you don't have your resume together, come on over. We will still have opportunities to help you with that. So we are looking forward to a really great turnout. Okay. With that being said, I would just like to say that I hope you all had a great Valentine's Day and continue to spread love and kindness throughout Rockdale. Have a great day, and this meeting is adjourned.